Welcome back to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. There is a cybersecurity attack every 39 seconds in this country, but many companies are reluctant to report that they've been a victim of these attacks for fear it will damage their reputation. Mike Geraghty, Chief Information Security Officer with the New Jersey Department of Homeland Security, says it's a big problem in New Jersey.
Sir, thanks so much for talking to us again. And even though we wanted to talk to you because it's Cybersecurity Month in the country, it's kind of fortuitous that at the same time there is this national movement by the Justice Department, by the Department of Homeland Security, and by Congress to get more companies to report cybersecurity attacks. I didn't even know that was a problem. Is it a problem in New Jersey?
Yes, it's a problem everywhere. Obviously, the legislation is under, discussion and at the higher levels at the federal side because there are only certain instances where you have to report cyber incidents to the government. And obviously that leaves us blind, especially when we're dealing with critical infrastructure or things that may have national security issues. So without that insight and that situational awareness, we're kind of blind to being able to provide any assistance, but also preventing those same types of attacks against our neighbors or other businesses, other government entities within New Jersey and beyond.
Yeah, the DOJ is serious. They're talking about fines against companies that don't report, especially those that accept federal money. So it is that big of a problem to them. Take it a step further. Explain why it's important that you have accurate reporting. What happens when you get a report?
So one of the things, and in New Jersey, the NJKIC acts as this central repository and central civilian interface, one-stop shop, if you will, for cybersecurity information sharing, threat intelligence, and incident reporting. And we really encourage not only public individuals, but also businesses and school systems to report cyber incidents to us. The internet connects to everybody. We're all connected, and that's not just in New Jersey. New Jersey connects to every other state and the governments and stuff. There are no geographic boundaries here. So the reason we encourage the reporting is, again, for that situational awareness so that we can prevent attacks against others by making them aware that these types of attacks are going on against this one business or this one critical infrastructure operator or whatever.
Yeah, I was reading in this article that I read about the federal effort said that there is this misnomer among companies that if they keep it a secret, if they don't report it, two things happen. They're less likely to attract the cybersecurity breach at their company, and that if they do report it, it might hurt their business. Address those and tell me why they would be misnomers.
Yeah, and so we've heard about reputational damage, and if they've released that they were breached or they had a cyber incident, it would ruin their reputation. And there's lots of concerns about that in business. If you're not considered secure and you're an online business, or is the public going to want to do business with you? So there are real concerns there. That being said, reporting cyber incidents, it's not meant to publicize them to the public, but to provide that information to the appropriate government entities, DHS and Department of Justice and others, so that they can investigate and take out the threat, which is the threat actor, but also prevent it from happening to other online businesses.
When they report it to the state, it's confidential?
Yes. So there's a couple of different types of reporting. In each of the 50 states, there is a data breach reporting requirement. So if you have a data breach and personally identifiable information such as dates of birth and social security numbers, credit card numbers, other financial information and the like, there's a law that in each state that you have to report that to the state, okay? And that's done by law in New Jersey to the New Jersey State Police through the NJKIC. And that's the office that I run. But other types of incidents, denial of service incidents, ransomware attacks, where there is no data breach, those are don't have to be reported. We encourage people to do that because if one school system gets hit with a ransomware incident, you can expect other schools to also be targeted. And we want to provide those other schools with preventative tips so that they don't become victims as well.
When you go in, or when the state goes in, is it often a law enforcement action?
No, and so there's two sides to the coin there. Obviously, the law enforcement action is the threat response. So you have a threat actor, the bad guys, if you will, and law enforcement is interested in finding evidence so that they can identify who the bad actors are, arrest and prosecute them. Our job on the Homeland Security side is more in the asset response, where we want to eliminate the threat from your network, from your environment, make sure that it's secure, recover all services, and let you go about your business without having a reoccurrence of that threat being exploited again.
And that's interesting, because that's a positive outcome. That's something you would normally pay for, and when you come in, there's no charge, right?
There's no charge for anything that we do, and everything that we do in Homeland Security is confidential when we're dealing with an individual entity. So we don't release any of those details. What we may release are things of, hey, there was a phishing attack, and these were, the subject line and the sender of the attack, but we don't tell who the victims were or any of those types of details. It's completely confidential. It's not a public record.
What would you say to companies out there that if you have a big enough company, you're going to get hit by a cyber attack? That's just the way of the world right now. What would you tell them?
So the former director of the FBI put it pretty succinctly. There's two types of companies: those that have been hacked and those that don't know they've been hacked. And so everybody's been hacked. You just might not know it. And so you need to have those connections with law enforcement, with Homeland Security, in order to respond to those attacks and respond, in a cohesive manner so that you can recover your business going forward.
Yeah, and because it's free and because you can actually help these businesses, it's actually good business to connect with you.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. It's fascinating, and happy Cybersecurity Month.
Thank you, Larry, for having me.
Mike Geraghty, New Jersey's Chief Information Security Officer. Still to come on Jersey Matters, it's now legal to turn your home baking into cash. We'll talk to the home baker that helped make that happen next.